The Closet Disco Queen podcast is the #1 ranked women in cannabis podcast by both FeedSpot and Million Podcasts 2025 and is produced by Humble Pond Productions, LLC.
Hi there. Join our casual conversations for curious, bewildered, and aspiring midlife cannabis queens. Welcome to the Closet Disco Queen podcast, featuring Queenie and TT. So kick off your platform shoes, sit back and get ready to laugh and learn all about adult use cannabis without having to ask a 22-year-old. Let's get rolling.
Like a chickmunk or something?
A family of something in there but there was the smell of like old urine. It was so gross. It was so gross. And then the drawer
What,
under
did they chew
it.
their way in there?
I
or?
don't know. The drawer under it too was, I think it's really small. I think
It is split level.
yeah. So anyway, I had to clean those out. And I was like, oh, it was kind of gross.
Wear gloves?
I did. I wore gloves.
Did you wear a mask?
I didn't. I should have worn a mask because, Legionnaires and all that, but I should have.
Ew.
I know.
Just ew.
I know. It was so gross.
No evidence of what it was. Could have been.
Just a lot of turds and,
Nuts
little,
and stuff.
little
Sure,
turds. No.
Probably mice, yeah, then.
I think it was mice. Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
I know. A lot of little fluff. And I know. But it could have been 3 years they were living in there.
Now you've disrupted their whole
I know.
condo.
It's like.
Their tri-level.
And then we have rabbits living under the deck, which drives the dog nuts. She's constantly like, and I saw 2 rabbits this morning. I think, okay, this is weird. I saw a big fat rabbit out in the yard. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's pregnant because we'll have some little baby bunnies like we do every year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw this other critter, and the screen, the screen was up in the kitchen because sometimes I open the windows during the winter, and I couldn't tell. I was like squinting. I couldn't tell. Another critter came up. At first I thought it was another rabbit, but then I was like, is that a squirrel? They looked like they were fighting. But then I was like, oh, maybe it's her. And they moved around so much I couldn't really tell. I was like, well, if it's a rabbit, it could be a mating ritual, So it's hard to tell sometimes if it's love or hate, but
Wow.
yeah.
Well, it's funny. I saw an article, I think it was yesterday, on, I can't remember the name of the kind of rabbit it is, but it's like as big as a beaver or bigger. Like,
oh my gosh.
almost as big as
That's a big rabbit.
Miles. Yeah, they're huge. And they're called Dutch. I don't remember, but I told you about our neighbors next door that they had to have had one of those because my father, I've never seen my father react. So he looked in the garage window when they weren't home once, and he's like, Jesus Christ, Marie, you got to come over here and look at this. I went over there. Granted, there were dozens of rabbits, bunnies, because they had gotten them for Easter, and they kept them in the garage. But one of them was there was at least one of these huge, it looked like a Volkswagen. It was like that big, but it was like, oh my God. But there were bunnies all over the place. They had signs out, free bunnies. Of course, nobody was taking them up on it. One day, a panel truck came and took all the bunnies out. I don't know how many hundreds of bunnies they removed from the garage. But this thing was huge.
Wow.
But they reproduced like bunnies.
Like rabbits. When I was little, we had a pet rabbit. My Auntie Annie, as we called her, gave it to us for Easter. My mother was going to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
She's got 4 kids. Now we have Thumper.
A pet bunny.
Yeah. He wasn't a happy bunny. Well, 4 kids pulling at him, and he did.
How
He
long
used to
did he
thump his
last?
foot. I think we ended up getting him to a farm. The old
Or is that what you
farm
were told?
lie. Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yes.
Just like Taffy.
Yeah. But
Taffy and
it got
Taffy
big
too.
though. It got pretty big.
Yeah, they do get a big,
It was white rabbit.
My niece had a rabbit, but,
Little pink eyes.
Yeah, doesn't even the nose. And
They're so cute though. They're really
they are cute and they're very soft. They are.
Especially when they're tiny little, when those little tiny
teeny.
bunnies are hopping
Do you have to
across.
make sure that they're not like nesting in your grass, or are you just assuming they're all under?
I don't know. They're not in our grass. There were some at my mom's.
Little nests
In the grass. I was like, what the hell? Because the dogs used to dig all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, these dogs. And then I look and I'm like, oh, there was this little pile of fluff on top of it. I was like, oh, I think it's a bunny nest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then I was worried about mowing there,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because
they pop their little heads up. There it goes.
Guillotine. That wouldn't be nice.
But then I cursed them. You what?
We got buck rubbed.
Buck rubbed?
Buck rubbed.
What the hell is that?
Wow, it's quite interesting. So Dan was looking out the side window, which, we rarely look out the living room windows on that side.
Right.
And we have a lilac bush there. It's an old, very well-established lilac bush.
Yeah.
So some of the limbs, I would say, are good, maybe 3 inches in diameter at the bottom. So it's substantial. And we had trimmed it down.
Yeah.
Well, he looked and he said, good God, something has stripped all the bark off the various branches of the lilac tree. So I went out and looked, and it was literally stripped down. It looked like someone just went and peeled it down from about 5 feet down. So it was like, what the heck? So I took a photo of it and asked Mary Jane, what's going on here? Buck rub.
Buck rub. Oh, it's that time of year.
And they rub their antlers to remove their velvet.
That is so interesting.
So we got buck rubbed.
Buck rubbed.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like it might feel good.
I didn't know anything about it. It kind of happened without our knowledge.
Buck rub. Okay.
A buck rub. See? Right near the fence. I mean, we've never seen bucks out here. I mean, we've seen doe and fawns, but of course there are if there are fawns and does, there are bucks, but you just don't see them.
Right.
And we're not like on the edge of the very edge of the neighborhood.
The woods, right.
So interesting. Mm-hmm.
I know somebody would like his buck rub.
Wouldn't they all? Buck rubbing is what makes the world go round now. That's what they tell us.
Just use lots of lube.
Hello, TT.
Hello, Queenie.
She's exclaiming lube. What's the word of the day? Lube. Should be the word of the century, huh?
Yeah, the decade at least.
The decade, yes. Whichever decade it is you choose. For goodness sakes. Well, hello there.
Hi.
Hi. I'm back in my studio.
Yay! How wonderful is that?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It just feels so much better, much more, I don't know, comfortable.
Yeah.
And everything's the right height.
It's your place, yeah.
And it's my spot.
Did you bring your moving desktop with you?
I am bequeathing that to Dan.
Oh, how nice.
For his office.
Oh, how nice of you. Yes.
He's in the side bedroom, and we're removing, that had been a playroom, and there are still some kitchen items in there. not our kitchen items, but kitchen items that
like
need to be moved.
Stove or something.
Stuff that we need to move the kitchen out of there, and then it would give him a little more surface area because he's got 2 screens he's working with, and he's got a lot.
Isn't it kind of crazy? I mean, I remember this feeling with my own children, like getting rid of a lot of the like Fisher Price stuff, all that big like climb on and play in. Right? Yeah. Can you believe that you're getting rid of your grandchildren's stuff? It's like, whoa.
You didn't really have to put it that way.
I'm sorry. It's so like, oh.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if my niece and Bronwyn want it.
Good.
Because we've got that rug, and that would be perfect. They've got a little play area up in their attic. Mm-hmm. So this rug is very cute, hopscotch, the whole deal.
Yeah.
It looks like a chalkboard. And then maybe they'd want the kitchen.
That's a great idea.
So next time Brian comes, we can, send it over with him.
I think that's where, in my sister's house, she has this big old, more than 100-year-old house, and they have what they call the upstairs. It's where apparently the servant used to be. There's a little separate staircase going up there. It's got my niece's kitchen stuff up there, and it's wood. It's like plywood. I think maybe her grandfather made it or something. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, she's an attorney now and lives in New York City, so she probably, but maybe they're saving it for her. Because if it's a family heirloom type thing,
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, my nephew's wife she got into woodworking, and she made a beautiful whole kitchen set for her daughter. Like,
cool.
It was a several year project.
I remember the little tea sets. Remember that? Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
play
Oh yeah.
making tea and having a tea
And we have
party.
a wooden table and chairs.
Yeah, we had that too.
Maybe Katie and Bronwyn would want
Yeah.
for the kids. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's, you know what though? Part of me is like, oh, it would just be good to get rid of. Like, I saved a bunch of stuff thinking, well, when my kids have kids, and you know what? I don't think it's going to happen. So I might just do a purge.
I'm still purging.
Yeah.
The boxes that I'm going through.
Yeah.
I'm just, you're out of here. You're out of here. Or it's going to the dreaded garage sale.
The garage
that
sale.
I'm not
Right.
running.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That is not my.
You could sit in the window and watch the people.
Oh God, no! I don't want any part of it.
It's
Not at all.
Good.
No, it doesn't do anything for me. Nothing.
Okay.
I don't like going to them. No.
You don't like going to garage sales?
No.
I love that stuff.
No. I would prefer.
Although
if I was
now
gonna
I
do
don't go
something
much.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, because my house is full of its own shit.
I know,
You know
why?
what I mean?
Why?
Yeah.
You know, if I was
Yeah.
into antiques or something, if I was looking for something vintage,
Right.
I may go to like an estate sale or something like that. But these garage sales, oh no.
Well, I think when the kids were little, that's where like I got their little Fisher Price car at a garage sale. You know, crazy coupe.
Oh my God! Well, I had a crazy coupe and the purple buggy.
Oh wow!
Well, I
You
had
had
two.
to.
They had to, they had their own vehicles, and they were, driving around the stairs. They loved it. It was a lot of fun. And then, gave them some freedom.
I'm gonna take the car out for a
I'm gonna
spin.
take it out for a spin. Keep an eye on me, will you?
Oh lordy!
Lordy. Our Closet Disco Queen podcast deals with legal adult cannabis use and is intended for entertainment purposes only for those 21 and older. So what else is new, TT?
I'm trying to think what else is new. I did go to see my gynecologist this past week.
Yes.
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 That was
Please
very.
do
She
tell.
was great. She was so low key and sympathetic, and just really, it was it wasn't an uncomfortable experience. Let's put it that way. And she said to me, "Yeah, you need some estrogen," and I was like, "Yes,
Yes.
I've needed it for years." So anyway, she gave me a prescription for this medication it's a fairly new medication.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it's like a suppository, like it's that kind of glycerin or whatever. And you insert it, and it actually has that part of your body produce estrogen.
So it stimulates
estrogen
estrogen
production. Yes. Without any of the
systemic.
systemic, right, problems. So we'll see how it works. The only thing is it's extremely expensive.
And you said it was fairly new.
Yeah.
This is
Fairly new. I mean, it's been around
technology.
for a couple of years, but it has there's like no generic yet. Nobody's copied it.
Okay.
Probably because, it's so annoying. Here I am worrying about paying for this stupid med, right?
Mm-hmm.
$300 a month. I mean, we're not talking chump change. And I see these ads on TV for Viagra, and it was just, it's like,
for free.
really? Come on.
Yeah. They're probably 0.0003 cents a pill now.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, it's
well, I think there's a
it's
period of
frustrating.
time, 7 or 10 years, where with the patent that
They have to
once
wait.
that period of time, then generics are able to be manufactured. But there's a period of time
thank goodness for young women, because I'll tell you, I did read, like, of course, I went and looked at a bunch of people's comments about taking it. It's very different from looking at the pharmaceutical page, And there were some women who said, I had a lot of discharge, or my hair started falling out. I was a little worried about that one. But it can take like up to 2 months for it to really start to work. So,
And is this a daily insertion? Or
you do it at night.
needed?
Yeah. You do it at night so that you're, prone and it's not, gravity's not working against you. So anyway, we'll see. I'm hopeful. I left her office feeling so hopeful.
And this was the first time you'd seen this practitioner also.
Right. I hadn't seen her before. And, I was
And how did you
diagnosed.
find this person? How did you find this
She
practitioner?
in the practice
that you had
that
been
my
going to?
well, I belong to this thing called Associated Physicians, and my primary is with them, and they have their own lab, and they have
Gotcha. Yep.
different specialties, and gynecology is one of the specialties they have. And if they don't have the specialty you need, they're affiliated with the university, so you can go to
They can refer
UW.
out. All righty.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. It's, as far as rubbing it everywhere, I can't, because it's maybe I guess I could before I insert it. Do a little, like Tanya suggested.
Well, it doesn't sound like this.
No, it's not. It doesn't have
not
estrogen in
estrogen
it.
itself.
Right. That's true. You're right.
So
I would
unless
need
your
some
cheeks can create estrogen on their own, I don't know.
No. Okay.
You might want to just keep it where it belongs.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Now, so you've got that.
Just the one thing.
No
oral. No oral. We're going to see how this goes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So follow up in what, 6 months, 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that should give it time to work and see.
Yeah.
But there were women who were writing, my God, it doesn't hurt at all. I have my sex life back. This is amazing. And, so I was like, okay, I'll try it.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
because
really great.
I have a lot of pain, so we'll see.
We'll see. We shall see. So do keep us informed. That's wonderful.
I will. So that was my excitement for the week.
Yeah. TT shooting the goop just to make it less risky. So she don't feel like she's stabbed in the coochie coo. With a hot iron when honey gets frisky. We hope and pray this will save the day. Cause a woman shouldn't need a battle plan to play. Hard on pills, cost me a cent. While anything helping women can cost as much as rent. They got 4-hour solutions on every pharmacy shelf. But when we need help, they say handle it yourself. Pass the goop. We shouldn't have to jump through every hoop. Pass the goop. We shouldn't have to jump through every hoop. The little blue pill gets commercials on the TV. 2 bathtubs on a hillside, like that's how love should be. Insurance covers his revival like it's basic health. But her cream costs $80, sitting dusty on the shelf. Oh. $4 for his fireworks, congratulations, sir. $200 for her comfort, tell me how is that fair? She shoots a goop and she likes the herb, and she tells her man to wait till the medicine is absorbed. Hard on pills, cost me a cent. While anything helping women can cost as much as rent. But we're shooting a goop and we're saving the day. Cause nobody's taking our play away. Pass the goop. We're done being quiet down there. Pass the goop. We're done being quiet down there.
What are you smoking? What are you consuming?
What am I consuming? What am I consuming? Oh, what am I smoking? I am smoking. It's an old favorite. Koa pre-rolls. Look at
Koa.
that.
Oh, cool. Is that a tin?
It's a tin.
Oh, you
And
have quite the tin collection.
Blue Dream. It's a sativa.
Sativa. Okay. So you should be getting a little boost.
A boost. A boost. A boost. What are you consumed of?
I had a cup of tea this morning with my Good Vibes fast acting unflavored
Drippage.
syrup.
Syrup.
Yeah. And it's good stuff. It is
Cool.
fast acting.
You know, I had read an article a couple weeks back that the price of cannabis in Massachusetts is like bottoming.
What?
A flower.
No
That
kidding.
There's such an excess that pricing has just,
Well, you know what I'm wondering too is they probably took a big hit when New York legalized, right?
I'm
their
sure they were
sales, 'cause
producing, yeah.
most of
they
the cars in the
probably-
parking lots when we went were
from New York,
plates.
yeah. So that may be a point. That may be a good point because, if they had planned X amount of production
Right.
and now we're overproduced with Massachusetts grown cannabis. Yeah. So people might want to keep that in mind. If you're near the border, you might want to do some price comparisons.
Right.
Because you might make out, if you're a flower person, you might make out a little better if you're buying your flower in
It's
Massachusetts.
interesting that doesn't carry out into the other forms of consumption because you would think,
But
yeah.
I think with processing, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
enough to have a thought. So
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
stop there.
Okay.
I don't have a thought. I have no thoughts on that.
No, I don't know.
Don't make me answer that. Oh my God. I watched Shrinking last night.
Was it good?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta see it. Don't tell. Don't
I
be a
can't.
spoiler.
No.
Okay.
And I caught up with the Pit too. So now I'm sitting
You
around with my
did?
thumb up my ass.
No. We still have a couple to watch on the Pit.
No, what I did do, since I'm listening to the book about Liza Minnelli,
Oh, right.
I did go and find her special in 1973, Liza with a Z, because she refers to it quite a bit in the book. And I thought, let's just take
Context.
a little walk back in memory lane. Because what I really wanted to do was watch Cabaret again.
Yeah.
Because she refers to that. But I'd have to buy it or rent it. And,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to see it. I mean, I've seen it. I don't want to see it again that much. Maybe I will by the end of the book.
Okay.
I'll break down and do it. But it's just interesting to be able to reference something that she's talking about.
Right.
Go back and take a look.
Yeah.
I did that with the Jenny Carson book too. So I'm in my,
That's how you started watching Johnny again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Dick Van Dyke when he turned 100. That got me going. I watched the whole Dick Van Dyke show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I'm
It's all about
on a
Liza.
mission.
Okay.
Liza with a Z, not with an S.
With a Z.
Please, I could see, the whole thing. That's quite the song. Have you heard it? So it's very interesting. So that's been fun. It's been enjoyable going through that. So I would recommend that. So far, so good. But as I shared with you, if you're going to listen to the audiobook, you have got to be prepared to a very bizarre delivery because her cadence is so off. I can't even describe. It's just awkward, and you're waiting for a sentence to end, and it keeps going, and something that should be going is ended, and it's like, what? So if you can get through that, it's interesting to hear her perspective.
Yeah. Well, she's reading, so it's not like she's just having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But I mean, she is 80, and, she did do quite a bit of damage to her brain with drugs and alcohol. So the fact that she's alive is a testament to, since her mother did herself, with the drugs and alcohol issues, whether it was purposeful or not, at 47.
Right. Yeah, that's so young. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were
80's a good age.
Well, Candice Bergen is 80. Who else just turned 80?
I mean, that's when I figure I'll probably start to think about packing it in. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we factored. Yeah, 80.
That's
where the 15 years came in.
Spreadsheets.
That's where we projected. That would be a good place to stop.
Yeah.
15 good years.
Stop, Liza, stop.
So it's just a little by the by on that one. But if you're interested in Judy Garland or, Broadway, it's very interesting and entertaining. She talks about Marvin Hamlish a lot and Peter Allen, her first husband. And very, very, very interesting.
Name dropping.
Well, this was her life.
I know.
She's married to Jack Haley, where I am in the book now.
Really?
The Tin Man's son. Dorothy's daughter and the Tin Man's son got married.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I did not not know
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Jack Haley Jr. Yeah. Yep. I mean, of course they did.
Yeah, of course they did.
Of course they did. I don't know what the Howard the
Well, when
Lion
you think
was
about
involved
the
with.
bonding,
Well, she met him when she was 14, and
jeez,
unreal.
Similar stories to tell.
Yes, very interesting though. It was a different world.
Yeah.
I mean, this poor girl was, not a childhood. No, it was tough keeping track of her mother's pills and all. So, yeah, you can see where she would have, she came by it very honestly.
Yeah.
Her substance abuse disorder, as she refers to it throughout the book. Yes.
What's the latest but buzz? TT, tell me the news. Where is it legal? No one knows. What's the latest but buzz? TT, tell me the news. Where is it legal? No one knows.
Well, that kind of brings us to the news, right?
Well, yes, I was just going to say, TT, do you have a story for us?
I do. And it's actually kind of ties in with what we were just talking about with substance abuse.
Mm.
Here's the headline: alcohol and tobacco are more damaging to users and society than marijuana is. Government-funded study concludes. So our grown-up friends in Canada put together a panel of 20 experts with experience with substance abuse issues from all across Canada. And they were asked to evaluate 16 different drugs on 10 dimensions of harm to consumers, as well as 6 dimensions of harm to others, like your family or whatever.
Right. Secondhand smoke, those types of things. Right.
Yeah. So here are the findings. Alcohol causes the most harm overall, with a cumulative weighted score of 79.
And this is out of 100.
Out of 100, yeah. And this was published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology. And then the second one was tobacco, then non-prescription opioids, then cocaine, then methamphetamine. Cannabis is way. So like the score for alcohol was 79. The score for cannabis is 15.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant. No surprise with alcohol. None whatsoever.
And the analysis concluded that marijuana's biggest harm comes not from its effect on the consumers, but it's related to the illegal market. So if you think about criminal activity and blah, 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 there's a lot of harm there.
Or potential harm. Right.
Potential harm from, the buying and selling and, all that stuff. Anyway, alcohol ranked first in 9 of the 16 harm categories, which is like we've been saying, why is weed deemed to be so much more dangerous?
It's hard to fathom.
It is.
I shared with you, I've been, obviously, as people know, I've been doing a lot of family work, genealogy and whatnot. And, I knew that my grandfather, my father's father, was an alcoholic. He died right when they found out they were going to have me. So I never met the man, but he was a ne'er-do-well. He really never found his footing, let's say. And then, I'm going back and further. Well, his father, alcohol. His brothers, alcohol.
Wow.
Dying of alcoholism.
Wow.
My grandmother's brothers, all 3 of them. All physicians, 2 physicians, 1 dentist, all dead before they were 72.
Wow.
Of alcohol. Yeah, it's terrible, terrible. Decimated whole families.
Right.
And we've seen the effects of it. It's nothing to play with, and I think being aware of the potential danger if this is in your family is important.
Yes, for sure. Especially
to ignore
if you have
it
a
is
family history.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
and this, well, what's happening too is people are turning more to cannabis than to alcohol. Alcohol sales have dropped. I think socially it's more acceptable to be high than it is to be, drunk off your rocker.
mm-hmm.
So I heard a quote from Mike Tyson the other day. He said something, because when he's smoking weed, he's got like a different person. He doesn't get angry. He's not, and he said something to the effect of, give people alcohol and they turn into a bunch of brawling psychos, but
Right.
give them weed and they're just hanging out, So, and I think there are a lot of people that do self-medicate with cannabis, when other things aren't working. So,
Well, why not?
Well, yeah, why not? But a lot of those people, I think, do use the black market. Like here in Wisconsin, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, you don't have access to the legal market. So it is a more risk. It's a riskier proposition.
Right. Risky because of the you don't know what the product is.
And you're risking your freedom potentially.
Exactly. Right.
Financial issues with fines and fees and legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
So, crazy. It's crazy.
So anyway, Canada, once again, shining the light.
You got to love it.
They're the beacon on the hill these days.
We are the beacon on the hill,
Please.
I can say.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, real or fake, another headline for TT to take. Florida man, maybe not. A fever dream or news I got. 4 wins deep, she's on a streak. Clocking caca like it's her meteor chic. But I'm scrolling thin, the wells run dry. I've run out of weed news. Don't ask me why. So crown the champ, enjoy the cloud. I'm not surrendering. I'm out of caca now.
So, TT, it's time to play everybody's favorite game, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If you recall, 2 situations TT's got to figure out. Was cannabis involved in this situation or not? Was it caca with a K? And TT's been hovering around 50%. You've had some good weeks. You've had some very bad weeks. And you've had some okays in there.
Yes.
So, are we ready to see what happens this week?
Let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a rip. Okay. A man wandered into a Home Depot after consuming an edible in the parking lot intending to buy light bulbs.
Okay.
He emerged 2 hours and 45 minutes later with $312 worth of weather stripping, a level, and no light bulbs. He had also helped 3 other customers. Did this happen, or is this caca, TT?
This sounds very plausible to me, and I'll tell you why.
Here we go.
Well, there are a couple things, because it again, weed makes you calm and pleasant and happy. And I could see, someone being generous with their time and offering to help someone else when they were high. I also can see how you might have forgotten what you came there for in the first place, because I often have trouble with my short-term memory. So I think, well, the other thing is that he may have been creative enough to say, oh, I have these other projects that, that I've been wanting to get started with. So why don't I just get the weather stripping? Now I'm here, and you walk around and you look at things, and
we know what that's like.
2 hours in Home Depot doesn't seem like
easily. You can
a bad thing to me, but so I'm going to say, I think this might be, was he smoking in the car?
No, it was an edible.
Oh, it was an edible. Oh, he took an edible. Oh, well then, I don't know, because they take a while to kick in. If he was smoking,
unless it was a nano.
A quick acting. Yeah.
Quick acting. We've had those.
Oh, see, now, I think I'm going to change my answer. I think just because of the whole edible thing, although if he was in there it would have kicked in like 20 minutes. So if he was just wandering around the store for 20 minutes, it would have kicked in. And then it could have just ballooned from there. I'm going to see. I'm torn now. I don't know what to say.
She's torn, folks. She's and she's panting.
Help me. I want to be a winner.
She wants to be a winner, folks.
Okay, I'm going to go with my first instinct and say, yes, it happened.
TT believes that this poor gentleman spent 2 hours and 45 minutes in a Home Depot with the initial intention of purchasing light bulbs and emerging with none, but being helpful.
Plausible.
Yes, TT feels that this is plausible. TT.
Yes.
After much consideration, I saw you were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You decided to go with your first instinct.
I did.
Too bad it's wrong. This was caca. Nothing but caca.
Should have gone with my second instinct.
You should have gone with your second instinct. Yes, absolutely. So,
okay.
you still have a chance. Still have a chance to, salvage a 50-50, another 50-50 week. All right, here we go. Second situation. A black bear in Yosemite broke into a camper's SUV, consumed an entire bag of THC gummies, and then could not figure out how to exit the vehicle. Rangers had to open the door for him. He sat still for 45 minutes before wandering off uphill. TT. Did this actually happen, or is this caca?
I think this is caca.
TT believes. Wow, that was quick. Woof.
Yeah.
Woof, I say. She says she thinks this is caca. Wow, you didn't hesitate for a moment, especially after saying you should have gone with your second choice last time. You've decided to eschew that to say, so you're cool with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, TT, I'm thrilled to be able to tell you that you've shit the bed again.
This one was real?
This was real. Yes, this happened in 2021. A black bear in Yosemite did occur.
My goodness. That's a riot. Can you imagine? A bear just like sitting in your car, chilling?
I don't know what I'm doing here, but it's feeling pretty good. Yeah. They do like to poke around and see what's going on.
They do.
They're very curious little critters.
Into cars, but because a lot of times people put their stuff in cars so the bears won't get them. But apparently he was dexterous enough to get the door open.
He could get into the SUV. Yes. Broke in. Mm-hmm. So TT this week.
Oh boy.
Both counts.
It's okay.
Oh well.
It's only a game.
There's always next week to look forward to.
A lot of shame in my
You're
voice.
frozen. Wow. I really thought you were going to at least split the difference, but
I'm just feeling
couldn't
sad
help
about
yourself.
This. I just feel sad about this.
You don't need to feel sad.
I should.
No, I don't think you.
I take things too personally.
I don't. I really don't think you should feel sad about this. No, that's not the intention.
As you said, I should.
You what?
I shit the bed.
You shit the bed. Okay, I'm sorry for using such a harsh.
Kind of harsh. It made me sad.
Okay, you were perfectly continent. There's no problems.
That's not happening either.
I'm sorry that I oh dear, I've plunged you into despair.
Not really.
We don't want that. No.
We've got a list and it's getting long, petty to profound. What feels so wrong? Sticky notes and middle-aged sass. If it don't serve us, it can kiss our ass. Fuck it, fix it, or forget it. We're seasoned queens, don't regret it. If it drains our soul or wastes our wit, we file it under, oh hell no, skip it. From bad bras to toxic friends, we draw the line and tie the ends each week. A gripe or hill to die on with Queenie and TT. The bucket list lives on.
I have a bucket.
What?
And it's so interesting that we were talking very early in the show about letting go, because I'm saying fuck it to holding on to shit from the past, holding on to stuff that weighs me down, and just there's no reason for it. I'm talking about emotional stuff mostly.
Wow.
But
Okay,
also what we're talking about with purging, getting rid of some of the crap,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can vouch that it does feel good to get rid of some of this stuff. And it really does. Yeah, there is a
Lightning
certain
sort of.
freedom. I've got a freedom that comes from not, you're right, not being weighed down by stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that whole letting go thing, I mean, and that maybe I guess that's something that I hadn't thought about it this way, but you know, as we're letting go of things, old patterns of behavior, you know, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
it's preparing us to let go of people as we age, you know. We're letting go of people, we're letting go of, and that's a really important thing to be able to do. Like letting go of the idea that we can do everything anymore. Letting go of the idea.
Healthily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being, you know, acknowledging
and being okay
that,
with it.
Right.
And say,
that there's
okay,
a progression.
Right. You know, letting go of I have to be a certain way in order to be worthwhile or productive or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. You know how freakish I've been with this kitchen.
Yeah.
I've been crazy. And, you know, the knobs were put on last week and my contractor was using a device that he had gotten. Let's just say it was a budget device.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finished doing these 2 knobs, there was a visible difference in, you know,
Yep.
evenness.
Yep. They were,
And, you know, yeah. And you know that.
it would drive you crazy for the rest of your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I had Mia here and I was like, oh my God, you know, what the hell? And she goes, well, maybe he can fix it. I said, you can't, it's already drilled, blah, blah, blah. And then I just looked at her, I said, you know what? I'm going to forget. I said, forget about it. It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
No.
In the scheme of things, it is no big deal.
Right.
And I don't care. You know what I mean?
You?
It's like,
yeah, it's not bothering you. You decided. So what?
it's not worth,
Right.
it's not worth it to me to get upset over something that is so minuscule, and so ridiculous in the scheme of things.
Right.
I don't care. So I think this was a great selection for this week, a great fuck it, because I would be, you know, consumed with this.
Right. Oh yeah. You know, and
I have to get a
me,
new door. You have to replace the cabinet
whole door, yeah.
Oh yeah. Just
they gotta paint it,
ridiculousness. It's ridiculous. So it's unnecessary. I have a beautiful kitchen. It's lovely. There's not a thing wrong with it. I love it.
Right.
And
I think a lot of that has to do with this idea of expectations, right? You expect it all to be perfect. We expect people to be perfect. You know, there's just this expectation. And when our expectations aren't met, that's when it's like, but if you just, you know, if someone walked into your kitchen, they're going to say, oh my God, this is gorgeous. You know, nobody's going to say that thing is 2 centimeters off kilter or whatever, you know, I mean, it's,
Right.
And who cares what people say anyway? That's another thing, you know, but
it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying I love it.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get to that point where it's where you can just say,
it's not important.
It's not important. In the scheme of things, it is not important. It's not a make or break in any way, shape, or form.
The other thing is, and this is closely related, I think, is the issue of, you know, that I have control over things that I don't have control over, you know, so that like I might be able to influence a certain outcome. And again, there's that, you know, being attached to some sort of outcome for myself or for someone else, you know, it's not on me to make people's lives better. You know what I mean? I mean, I can be kind and compassionate and bring that to the world, but it's not my job to take someone's life and turn it around. They have to be the ones to do that.
Right. And being a resource and being able to
all those
maybe
things.
help pathways, things like that. Sure. But
Of
you're
course.
right. The bottom line is, and it's the same thing. You can't want something more than someone else wants for themselves.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. And I think the sooner we can come to that acceptance, the better, because it does take burden away when you do realize that you absolutely do not have control.
We have very little
You make
control.
yourself crazy thinking you
Yes.
do.
Exactly. Because people do what they want, and it doesn't matter what you think is right or wrong. You know, it's up to them to decide. Yeah. And, some of that is also carrying the emotional load. If someone's unhappy, saying, "Oh, yeah, yeah, let it go."
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think this was a great fuck it for this week. And I think the sooner we can accept some of these things as being uncontrollable,
Mm-hmm.
the better off we'll be.
Mm-hmm.
The only person you have control over is yourself. And if you're lucky, you have
Right.
control over yourself. That's about it. You have impact over what you do.
And this is not to say that you divorce yourself from everything. I mean, I'm going to go to the No Kings March because I know that all of us together are capable of more than one person can be. You know what I mean? I think that I'm not saying that, fuck it to everything. I'm just saying that's something I can control, whether or not I participate in the march,
Right.
And so,
even though, we cannot control what our government is going to do. We don't have direct control, one-on-one control, but we do have collective control.
Right.
When we come together.
When we exercise our rights.
Right.
Yes.
As an individual, you're right. Through exercising your right, it becomes the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the comes from. And I think, people who think, oh, my vote doesn't count. That's not true.
No, it's not. It's very
not true at all.
Yep.
So, but, bravo, TT.
Yeah.
This was a delightful selection. All righty then. I guess it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye, Queenie.
I hope everybody has a lovely week. And if you're participating in the march, stay safe, folks. Be impactful,
Get out there
but stay
and
safe.
Be counted.
Be counted. Let your voice be heard.
Right.
And we'll talk to everybody next week then. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to hit.
Thanks for joining us at the Closet Disco Queen podcast. Grab a brownie or doobie, pass us to your friends, and be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. And be sure to leave us a 5-star review as it helps others find us. Peace out.
Prepared. Lube a lady, lube a lady, lube a lady up. Lube it up, lube it up. Poke it on your privates, fill the cup. If it squeaks or sticks or makes you yell, lube it up. We lube the hinges, lube the door, grease the pan. So what's one more? Your coochie is a Cadillac, not a wagon deer. She deserves a lube job twice a year. Minimum. Slippery lady, whoa. Slippery lady, slippery lady. Intense, knocked it off the nightstand dents. TSA said, ma'am, what's this, sir? It's personal, mind your business. Coochie lady, wow! Lube it up, lube it up. Put it on your privates, fill the cup. If it squeaks or sticks or makes you yell, lube it up, lube it up, lube it up. 20, 40, 60, 80. Dry is optional, lube is safety. The only thing you should be dry on is your martini. Cheers! Lube a lady, ooh! Wow! Lube it up, lube it up. Poke it on your privates, fill the cup. If it squeaks or sticks or makes you yell, lube it up.
The Closet Disco Queen podcast is the #1 ranked women in cannabis podcast by both FeedSpot and Million Podcasts 2025 and is produced by Humble Pond Productions, LLC. If you are interested in being a guest, email us at info@humblepond.com or reach out on Facebook. Visit Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and leave us your 5-star review and comments. Thanks.